The Rochester Fire Department put on its annual Christmas Eve memorial ceremony earlier this morning, remembering the late Ambrose Riley and Stanley O'Brien for their heroic actions 70 years ago. KIMT News 3's Evan Berg spoke with RFD and Riley and O'Brien's grandchildren and great-grandchild about what the hero sacrifice means to them.
I'm here at Silver Lake Park, where 70 years ago, 2 Rochester firefighters gave their lives trying to save the life of 9-year-old John Paul Stevenson. The Rochester Fire Department held a memorial ceremony earlier today. At 12:55 on Christmas Eve, 1953, a call came in to the Rochester Fire Department about a child who had fallen through the ice on the lake, John Paul Stevenson. Ambrose Riley and Stanley O'Brien were the first responders to arrive on the scene, spotting the boy out on the water struggling to stay afloat. While rescue efforts were made to save the child, all 3 ended up disappearing beneath the surface of Silver Lake, only to be found dead later.
It's terribly tragic, but it's also so heartwarming and heroic. You know, what they gave it all. They did their best. And for somebody they didn't even know.
Eric Kriska, chief of the Rochester Fire Department, thinks it is an important story to remember, which is why RFD honors their sacrifice every Christmas Eve morning.
Well, it's to remember the past, but it also sets an example for all of us of what right looks like. You know, it sets an example of courage.
For the 70th anniversary, the fire department invited both Riley and O'Brien's descendants to come join them at the holiday festivities.
It brings us all together in a sense. And it means more than words, seeing my grandfather remembered here.
Even all these years later, Riley's family says they take comfort in the fact that their sacrifice lives on in the community.
It's a remarkable recognition of firefighters, and for us, a beloved, brave, courageous, faithful man who sacrificed his life for someone else.
According to the fire department, the annual tradition is an important reminder to firefighters and their families, as well as the community, of the sacrifices that can come with the career. In Rochester, Evan Berg, KIMT News 3.
Chief Kriska says he and the fire department continue to maintain the car Riley and O'Brien drove on that fateful day. RFD hopes to restore it completely to act as a monument to remember the 2 heroes.